Hey guys, today we'll be taking a look at the autofocus system we find in the A7S Mark III and compare that to the one in the A7 Mark III. Previously, I took a look at the A7 Mark III versus the Mark II and found the A7 III was superior for video autofocus in almost every single way, and we'll see that if that's the case with the new A7S Mark III, which is renowned for its video capabilities. Starting off, we'll be looking at the 50mm f1.8, and you can see I'm shooting wide here, and we'll switch over to center focus now, and you can see that as I'm walking towards the frame, the A7S Mark III is doing a significantly better job at keeping focus on my face. Now, this could be because of the new eye autofocus, which is continuous when recording video, compared to the eye autofocus, which is only continuous when shooting photography on the A7 Mark III. Now, another thing to note is that the racking is significantly smoother for this autofocus. So if you watch as I walk towards the camera, the A7S Mark III is going to do a much better job at just keeping it smooth throughout and transitioning well through that racking. On the A7 Mark III, it's a little bit jittery at times, so you can see where if I remove my hand and it's trying to find my face, it's kind of racking and it goes beyond what it needs to, and then it catches itself, and that can be kind of disorienting for a viewer, especially if it's video that you're focused on. Now, so one thing to note is that the A7S Mark III in these two shots, if you're looking at them side by side, has a little bit warmer color. So look at the dead flower behind me, and you can see that the browns are just a little bit more brown, and it's washed out almost on the A7 Mark III. And I think that's because of the new externally mounted white balance sensor, and this allows the camera to get a much more accurate reading, and it helps it not wash out the entire picture. And you can almost see this again on the sky. So if you look at the sky, it's an overcast day, the power lines on the A7S III, you can see the let's just call it branches to that power line, right, where it holds the wires. On the A7 III, it's washed out to the point where you can't even see it. And that's just something to keep in note if you're shooting video. It's not a deal breaker. I never found an issue with the autofocus system in A7 III, but that's just something to consider. Now, I have switched over to the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 now, and previously when testing this lens, I noticed that through the focal range, the autofocus kind of behaves differently. It doesn't behave the same at 28, and it doesn't behave the same when comparing it to 35, 50, and then again 75. So we're taking a look here, and you can see as I walk back and forth to the camera, it's almost the same, but again, if you're being a pixel peeper, you'll notice that the A7S III is racking that focus significantly better. And you can see as I walk up towards the camera and I remove my hand, the A7 III instantly switches, but on the A7S III, it's just doing it so much more naturally. It's just very smooth. Now I'm comparing this shot at 35 with center focus, and I'm switching back between wide and center because that's typically what I use when I shoot video. Wide allows me to kind of just catch anything, and it really tests the system to the limits to what the system thinks should be in focus. But center focus is really what I want to be shooting on for video when I'm shooting product shots, because I know that what I want is going to be in the center. And I'm doing this test with my hand because it's basically tracking my face throughout, because I have face or eye AF for video on, but as I walk towards the camera with my hand, it's going to be tracking my hand, and I want to see how quickly it's able to switch between those. Now, again, kind of rounding it off towards the end of this video, the consistent results that I see between the footage I've reviewed, and just having played with both cameras now for a while now, especially the A7 III, is that the A7 III is good. It's fantastic for almost everything. But there were times when I was reviewing footage and I did happen to shoot on autofocus where it just didn't look natural, especially when slowed down at 120 FPS. When looking at the A7S III, all the footage that I shot, I never found anywhere where it was jittery, where I was like, I can't use this footage at all. Additionally, that color renditioning, the new color science in the A7S III I like it significantly more compared to the A7 III. So these are just some things to know. Please like and subscribe if you like these type of videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.